Hi, my name's Hudson and I'm Taylor's only younger brother. You know, me and Taylor were your typical brother and sister. We'd fight a lot, but we'd usually come back and get closer from it. Something that me and Taylor like to do is we like to force hugs on each other. For instance, when Taylor was having a bad day and I knew it, I'd go and force a hug on her. Usually she'd get mad and push me away and punch me, but usually it happened when I did it to her too. But what we didn't know at the time was those hugs were limited. I will never be able to hug my sister again. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the night it happened from my perspective. It was about 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. So I was tired, so I walked downstairs and turned on the PlayStation, turned on Netflix, and was going to watch a movie and go to sleep. And right when I was about to pick a movie to watch, I heard a knock at the door. When I heard a knock at the door, I thought, who could be knocking at the door at 10 o'clock? But then I remembered, oh yeah, that's right, Taylor's coming home. But then I thought, well, if it's Taylor, why wouldn't she just walk in? And then the last thought I had was, oh, my dad probably locked the door and she can't get in. And right when I thought that, I heard her scream. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard your dad cry or scream in horror, but it plays over in your head over and over and over again. I remember it like it was yesterday. So after that, I automatically knew what happened. I walked upstairs and walked straight into my room. When I got to my room, I started making phone calls. First person I tried was my oldest brother. He didn't answer. So I tried my other brother. He didn't answer either. So I thought, alright, I'll try each one more time. So I called my oldest brother, Josh, one more time. And he was up in Pocatello at school. And he answered. And he could tell from the sound of my voice that something was wrong. So he said, Hudson, what's wrong? I said, Taylor's been killed in a car accident. Right then there was a moment of silence. For over a minute. Just no one talked. Just breathed into the phone. And after that, he just said, okay, I'm on my way home, and just hung up. He didn't say anything comforting or anything, just hung up. So after that, I tried my other brother Ethan again. He didn't answer. So I walked out into the living room to see what was going on. My mom and dad were talking with the coroner, and they were busy trying to figure things out. And then my mom said, someone needs to go tell Bernardo. And Bernardo was Taylor's boyfriend at the time. And I knew they were busy trying to figure things out, so I volunteered. So I went and hopped in my truck and started the 10-minute drive to Marsing that felt like hours. When I pulled into his driveway, he was already at his gate. So he must have known something was wrong. He must have had a feeling. So when I walked up, I met him at the gate, and he could tell that I had been crying and that something was wrong. So he said, Hudson, what's wrong? Are you alright? And I said, Taylor's been in a car accident. And he said nervously, well, is she okay? And I said, no, Bernard, she's dead. I've never seen such a blank look on a person's face. His face just turned pale. He hunched over and looked like he was about to puke. And I didn't even know what to say to him. There's nothing I could say to him that could bring him comfort at that point. So I just said, Bernardo, I'm sorry. And then I pretty much got in my truck and left. And while I was driving home, I received a call from my other brother, Ethan. And earlier that night, I had sent him a text saying that Taylor had been in a car accident, but I didn't tell him the extent of it. So when I answered the phone, he was already screaming in the phone and bawling his eyes out. So I kind of thought it was odd. And he's like, what happened, what happened, what happened? Is she okay, is she okay? And I said, no, Ethan, she's been killed in a car accident, she didn't make it. And then he just freaked out. He didn't handle it like my other brother. He started screaming and bawling into the phone. I couldn't even understand him. So after he kept trying to scream into the phone, I just said, Ethan, just come home and call Dad, and I just hung up because I didn't need to deal with it. So after that, I continued home, and when I got home, there's about 20, 30 people there already, and you know, usually when something like tragic like this happens, people come to your house to usually comfort you. that's not how it was that night. People were at her house to receive comfort from us, the people closest to her. And that's something not easy to do. Now I'm going to tell you something that still happens to me today, something I'm still affected by today. If I'm driving down the freeway or the highway and I see the cop lights ahead or the ambulance lights or whatever, and I can just tell there's an accident up ahead, I have to get off at the next exit. Because I don't want to have to drive past that accident and see my best friend, my mom, my dad laying dead on the side of the road. Don't want to do it, so I don't even risk it. I just get off at the exit before and go around. I just don't even want to put myself in that situation. I know it's hard. I'll admit. I'll be the first to admit. I used to text and drive. And I used to think I was good at it. And I had a lot of close calls. I actually consider myself pretty lucky to even be here. I've had so many close calls. And it's hard. I know when you're sitting in your truck driving or whatever, and you see that light come on or you hear that buzz, it's almost like there's a chemical reaction inside you that makes you feel belonging to something or something that you want to pick up that phone. And you can't even put yourself in that situation. Put your phone somewhere where you won't even be able to see it. Put it in your glove box. Put it in your trunk. Because if you do put it in sight or in reaching distance, you will progressively start to get worse. For instance, you hear that buzz and you say, okay, I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to answer back. I'm just going to take a quick glance at it. But then you're going to get to the point to where you say, all right, I'm just going to read it and I'll just send a quick text back. But eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're sending paragraphs, where your eyes are not on the road for football fields at a time. So don't even put yourself in the situation. Don't even risk it. Put it in your trunk, put it in your glove box, put it somewhere where you won't even be tempted to do it. So I just plead to you, put it down. Because you do not want to put your family through what my family's been through. And you know, if you don't do it for you, or if you don't do it for your family, do it for the other families. Because the only thing worse than killing yourself in a texting while driving accident is killing someone else and you living. You do not want that on your conscience. You won't even be able to live with yourself. So just put it down. Don't even risk it. No text is worth losing your life or another person's life over. So just put it down, so you do not have to carry your sister to her burial grounds.